Hello, hello. Welcome for another episode of Off the Spotlight. Hey, it's your host with the most, your main man, Darren M. Palmer. Excited to be with you as I go behind the scenes with best-selling authors from across the globe. I got my good friend, Jeremy McZeal, on today. Jeremy, say hello to the people if you don't mind, please, sir.
Hello world. How we doing today? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm loving every minute of it, so I can't wait to get started. Thank you for
Awesome,
having me, Darren. It's definitely a pleasure. Anytime, anytime.
awesome, man. Thank you so much, Jeremy. But man, I just want you to, if you don't mind, Jeremy, people see you. And by the way, I need to borrow that tie from you, after COVID-19 over with. They say you have not cut your ass not, Jeremy, man. I'm just standing in agreement with that, man. But beyond that, man, people see some of the things that they see you right now, but they really don't. They see your glory, but they don't know your story for the most part. So if you don't mind, share with us like a little short bio about you and the name of your book, and then we'll go a little bit deeper into the actual story of Jeremy McZeal.
Awesome, awesome. So once again, I'm Jeremy McZeal. I'm actually 32 years old, and I'm from a small town called Port Arthur, Texas. I actually live now in San Antonio, Texas. And my first book that I wrote is actually called The Power of the Tongue. Okay. It shows you how I used the power of law of attraction to actually manifest things in my life. And I'm actually getting ready to publish another book as well. So it's kind of like a continuation of that autobiography of my life. And it's going to be called, I'm trying to figure out the name for it actually, but I'm gonna have to probably keep that a secret, actually.
Yeah, I just we'll share that on the live.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep that a secret. I actually put it out on social media, just to look kind of like a little snippet saying coming soon or whatnot. And I'm actually send you the first look of it. Matter of fact, I'm seeing
Okay.
the first look of it. I'm redesigning it right now, and I want it to be right when I put it out there in the public. So,
Mm,
but and you say a little bit about my story, correct?
yes.
Okay, so I want to keep it short. I'm second to youngest of 8 kids. Second to youngest of 8 kids. I grew up in a small home with just my mom and four of my sisters, and we just had this lifestyle that it was cool at that point in time. Everything was going good, but then things started to get really bad. Like it's not the typical lifestyle that people normally have. I actually stopped living with my mom at 14 years old, and I was on my own from 14 all the way up until now. I've been on my own. My first job was at 14, and everything really started when I got into high school. I got into high school, and I decided to play football. So I was playing football in Port Arthur, Texas, for a long time. I mean, from freaking middle school, seventh grade, all the way up to 11th grade. My mom didn't know I was playing football. She did not want me to play football. So I was playing football and I ended up getting injured. I suffered from a knee injury that actually had me, it made me go flatline 3 times in the hospital. I had blood clots on every major organ of my body. So everything that I'm going to share with you guys on the line right now really stemmed from that experience. It lets me know that no matter what goes on in this world, I'm supposed to be here. No matter what happens or what I go through, or how maybe bleak or meek things may seem, I am supposed to be here doing what I'm doing today because it's really willed by God, I believe. I always talk to God every single time I'm making a move. So I believe that everything right now is just how it's supposed to be, even this interview. And so I actually went to college 4 years. I did the typical route, right? My mom didn't tell me to go to college. She just said, get an education. I had to figure that out myself, like what that actually meant. So what I did was I paid attention to my peers, everybody that was around me, right? So I saw that my friends were in high school. When we were in high school, I saw that they were like getting letters and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So I guess this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So upon me playing football, 11th grade, I started getting offers from big schools, University of Texas, University of Iowa, USC, right? And I was like, oh, I'm going to make it out of Port Arthur. That was the goal, to make it out of Port Arthur, because if you don't, you'll either be a trying rapper or a drug dealer, right? So, and I was actually, I was selling drugs in Port Arthur. I was a part of gangs and different things like that. So what my friends see now today, this package here, is they're still trying to get used to it, right? They're like this is amazing. Like, I can't believe this is happening, right? Like this has happened to you. And so upon me doing that and getting these offers from these colleges, I went through that injury. And then when I got out of the hospital, I was in the hospital for 3.5 months. And then I got out of the hospital. I was homeschooled. I missed all most of my 11th grade year and almost all of my 12th grade year. And they literally revoked all my scholarships. They took everything. So I had to start new. So I walked on at Prairie View A&M University because I was actually not going to go to school. I walked on at Prairie View A&M University. I had just had my daughter. She's about to be 14 now in 2 days. Well, 1 day now. And it was hard for me because I had to make that decision as a new father, leaving his daughter, right, with no I didn't have any transportation to get back to her or anything like that. So I went to school, went through 4 years. I went to school all year round because my only goal was to get back to my daughter, get this education and go build a life for my daughter. At least that's what I figured in my head, right? So I went through all of that. I got a job. I started teaching. I was in education. I started teaching in Houston ISD and Humboldt ISD for 4 years. And then I went into, I say, man, there has to be something more than teaching and coaching. So then I went into physical therapy. I had a few odd jobs in between there, but I went into physical therapy. And what changed for me, what got me into entrepreneurship and being an author was that situation as well, because the doctor that I was working for, because I didn't have a license or anything like that, it was just like, I'm going to try it. I'm just going to go for it. So the doctor got arrested because we had a client that actually killed a family of 4. He was under the influence of medication on the highway, killed a family of 4, and the entire clinic, everybody at the clinic lost their jobs. I had just got into being an entrepreneur and trying to segue into full-time job, part-time job to entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur. And that was the eye-opener for me. That made me realize that it didn't matter what I did. If I'm working for someone else, it's out of my control. I don't have control over the situation like I should. So I decided to move to Dallas, and I started doing life insurance, living with the best friend, sleeping on his couch, sleeping on his floor. And I had a mentor. I have a mentor now. He actually presented me with an opportunity. And so I decided to pursue that opportunity in entrepreneurship in the travel industry full time. So I told him that, and he actually didn't agree with it. He didn't really understand entrepreneurship. He pretty much thought he was better than me. And for a majority of my life, I thought he was, because he had more than what I had. He was in a better position than me. So I was sleeping in my car in front of my girlfriend's mom's house, building this business, working from a little flip phone with 3G network and 1 bar of internet, Wi-Fi that I was mooching off of from her mom's house, right, from the side of the street. And so me and my girlfriend's mom had a heart-to-heart. This is where the book came in. She told me that I should publish a book. I should write my story. And I could never come to terms with telling my story. It was, for one, it was too painful. I didn't know how to tell it, and I didn't know how people would respond to it. So we had, like I said, we had a heart-to-heart. We were crying, going through all this stuff, right? Going through the motions. And I just decided, I was like, man, I've been literally typing my story up for about 12 years, and I never did anything with it. I did it in poetry format. I did it in regular writing format. And so now I just like, you know what? I'm going to put out pieces of it, make it a guerrilla back, and I'm going to put it out. And so that's what I've been doing. So the next book that I'm going to put out is it's going to be a mix between the autobiography and a poetry manuscript. So it's going to be that mix, and it's going to give people my full personality, my full emotions on how I was feeling during those situations and times and things like that. So fast forward today, I'm living life. I'm writing books. I'm traveling the world. Right now, we can't travel right now because everything that's going on, but nothing in our lives has changed because of the sacrifices that we made, because of what we chose to become when we felt like we could have been comfortable at that point in time. Like we could have just, all right, I'm out of my car. We have an apartment. You know, I could have been comfortable and made my life just that and stopped there, but I chose not to. So here we are today. Just I mean, I'm on an interview. People want to know my story, and I'm praying to God that it helps. I pray that what we're going to get into today hits somebody to enough to where they decide to be their own hero. That's what I told myself. That was my message to the people my entire journey, is that you have to be your own hero. Nobody's coming to save you. If you don't do anything, it won't happen. You're in full control of the situation. If your hands can touch it, if you're a part of it, you can also change it.
Man, brilliant, man. I love what you're sharing with me here. When I think about it, Jeremy, the importance of, for those who are tuned in, understanding that you can change your situation, you can change your environment. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters how you finish or whatnot. And so when I'm listening to the story of Jeremy and what he's pouring into us today, and that's why I'm sharing, he's pouring out his heart. He got a heart the size of Texas, and he's actually genuine when he says that he cares about someone being inspired with this. But I do got to give Jeremy some props though, because I can tell that he's going to be successful, because the man was able to close the deal. See, some of y'all, you gotta have a drip fest. Some of you gotta have your Rolex on. Some of you gotta pull up in a Maserati or whatnot to be able to pull. My man Jeremy was getting chose sleeping in the car in front of his girl mama house. Man, now if the man ain't got skills right there, if the man do not have skills, he gotta be from Port Arthur, Texas, the Golden Triangle to be able to pull that off right there, man. So that alone. Success leaves clues. So that alone tell you that the man gonna be able to close the deal, to be able to do something like that. But I also love the part where you're sharing that you didn't allow for your current situation to define you. And there's some people out there that really need to hear this during this time of COVID-19, the whole nine with the coronavirus pandemic going on across the globe. It's so much negativity, it's so much information of that. I'm not going to make it, or you're not going to make it. Just look at the job losses. Look at this. Look at this. But they also, what's lost in that, the diamond in the rough, is stories like yours, Jeremy. Stories like mine and others out there. I like to call it the unsung heroes or whatnot. Not saying that it doesn't matter about, just saying that you have to be a billionaire, or it doesn't matter about all this other stuff or whatnot. Now, I'm not saying that funds aren't important, but I'm just saying just people who were able to change their mindset and have a growth mindset of every day I want to continue to improve. My goal is not to compete with Jeremy. I want to be the best Darren that I can be. Jeremy wants to be the best Jeremy that he can be. He wants to reach his full potential, who God created him to be. He wants to die daily to the old self, the untrue him, and actually manifest the actual him, who God intended him for him to be. The second Adam, so to speak. I don't want to go over y'all head with that.
I love it.
You understand what I'm talking about, Jeremy? It's a different vibe. And when we speak of that, Jeremy, just share with us, take us through the mental fortitude that you had to not give up, man. Because see, it's so many people that get, as the great philosopher and former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson once said, everybody got a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
In the mouth.
For you got hit in the mouth several times. So I want you to speak to the people. What were you going through during those times when you hadn't made it? You didn't have the reserves. You're dealing with getting a side eye, by Britt Mama. You're dealing with others looking at you as possibly being, a loser. And man, you homeless, bro. Really? You had to deal with all that to get where you are now. So what did you do to get over the mindset that you weren't what others were trying to put on you, the labels that they was trying to put on you?
One thing that the shift that really, first off, it was the reading. I was always a reader, but I didn't read the right type of information. That was a switch that I had to make. When I started reading, and I'm talking about really reading, people said, and not just reading, but implementing it. So I did something very drastic when I got into entrepreneurship, or decided to. I was a entrepreneur at that point in time, right? I just wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? So one thing that I did, when I got my first apartment, it was no more than, I think it was like 520 square feet, right? And my bed took up most of that. So I literally, and I tell my girlfriend this all the time, and she just loves to hear it. I literally locked myself in that apartment for 6 months, and I read and I read and I read and I took notes and I read. And the only time I went out of the house was to practice on people, practice sharing, practice like sharing self-love or I remember when I used to try to stay away from people, I didn't like people, right? Because I was always being taken advantage of. So that's another part of my mindset that I had to change was that everybody's not out to get you. Everybody's not out to hurt you, right? Some people are really wanting to see you succeed, but you have to open up to that. You have to give people the benefit of the doubt. I said that everybody's a friend until proven otherwise. Everybody's a friend until proven otherwise, right? So when I locked myself in that apartment for 6 months and I read, I wanted to understand what it took to be an entrepreneur, what it took to be successful in that industry, right? So once I figured that out or got a concept in my head of what that was, I went out and I shared it with people in a loving manner, not, hey, come join me, hey, come partner with me, not none of that. It was sharing the mindset, that growth mindset that you're talking about. I wanted to invoke that on other people. I wanted to help them understand what that was and how to get it, how to develop that growth mindset, and then go into the creative mindset, the creative plane to actually start coming up with ideas and concepts and missions and different things like that to be better, to become better. So to answer your question, the thing that really changed for me was that I just got tired of losing. I got tired of feeling like at some point you just got to get mad and you got to get tired, right? So that was my change. I got tired of being where I was. I got tired of feeling the way I felt. I got tired of I got tired of hearing people publish books and I didn't publish anything. I got tired of people saying, oh, I saved this amount of money and I don't have anything in my bank account. I got tired of people bragging about their jobs and about what their boss is doing for them or whatever. And I wanted to do for me and show people that they can do for them. I wanted to be the example. Like I shared with you in the beginning, I wanted to be my own hero so that way I can show others how to be their own hero, right? So that mindset came from really learning that certain way of how to be successful, because there is a certain way. We know there is a certain way, but and you don't have to do it by yourself. You know, you can't do it by yourself, honestly. Like there's no way. Like I tried it many times, and that was another shift too, is that I tried to do everything myself. If I'm gonna start this business traditionally or whatever, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna go out and get the name. I'm gonna go out and do the logo. I'm gonna go out and market. I'm gonna go out and network and all. I'm gonna do all of this, and I'm running myself thin. I'm running myself dry. I'm not working smarter. I'm working harder. Too hard at that, right? So I really, just to keep it simple, I really just got tired of not being where I know I should be. I did everything that they told me to do. They told me to go to school. They told me to get my education. They told me to get the degree. They told me to get a good job. They told me to have a family. They told me to settle down. They told me to do all this stuff, and I listened. I listened to those traditional ways, that obsolete way of thinking, and it literally put me in a position of being homeless because I wasn't in control of my life. I wasn't in control of that degree or that receipt that they gave me. I wasn't in control of my job. I wasn't in control of my income. I wasn't in control of anything, even though no matter how bad I wanted to tell people, yeah, I got it going on. I got to go. I'm a physical therapist. I got it going on. I make $80,000 to $100,000 a year, knowing good and well, IRS I don't make $80,000 to $100,000 a year, right? They take more than what I make. So I needed to make that adjustment. And the way I did that was I started with my mindset first, and I took time on myself. I paid attention to who I was. I learned who Jeremy was. And then I went out and I shared Jeremy with everybody else to see if that's the Jeremy that people are attracted to. I didn't want to be somebody that I wasn't. I wanted to bring out the real me so that way people can see it. And if they didn't like it, they didn't like it. But I know that it was good for me. And that's what happened. I don't expect nobody to lock themselves in their apartment for 6 months. Now you have time, right? Now you have time. And now I see on social media, I was like, now people are reading. Like, man, what are you guys reading? Like, you should have been reading before this. You should have been making those moves before this. You should have been committed to the cause before this. But I know that some people, like a lot of people, they were just comfortable. And I got tired of being comfortable. So I got uncomfortable being comfortable. I got comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's where we are today. So that growth mindset came from me being tired of losing.
Man, I'm gonna use it with some good old Southern country vernacular. You got to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Now that's not, but you got, it comes to a point in time that, like you say, you got to put aside the excuses. So I want to go a little bit deeper into what Jeremy shared, because I don't want some of those who listening to miss this. Now, it's the sacrifice. It's the sacrifice that Jeremy did. So let's just look at it a little bit deeper. He was willing to put himself, and he was willing to start social distancing before it was cool to say social distancing, because he realized that he was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and he was willing to do whatever it took to be the true Jeremy that he know he could be. He didn't have to have it all figured out. But what happened is just like in the old school, the King James, when you look at Matthew, the beget, when it shows the genealogy of Jesus or whatnot. But one book beget another book. One idea beget another idea. One opportunity beget another opportunity. One paradigm shift goes into another one. He didn't do like Beyonce and just wake up like this. And anybody who watched, her documentary and see her work ethic, you see she didn't just wake up like that either. It's intentional. And as a young lady who commented while we're doing this shared, Joyce Johnson, winning is a decision. And so he decided to win. I've heard also from TD Jake say, you never seen anybody who won a gold medal fall across the finish line and say, I don't know how I ended up here. I was just going to the store getting something to eat and I fell across the finish line. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that I am here and I've arrived. So what Jeremy is bringing to us as well is you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's going to allow for you to reach your target and reach your goal. You have to look at the man or the woman in the mirror and realize, what do you need to unlearn? Did Darren just go there? What do you need to unlearn? Because some of the things that he had been programmed, it was obsolete. You might as well start looking for dinosaurs, because that doesn't work in the current market. Now, back in the day, 50 years ago, that might have been somebody's story that could have worked at that particular time. But in today's society, you have to be willing to self-educate. We understand self-medicate, but when it comes to self-educating yourself and learning something, and that part though, Jeremy, that's where we got to get uncomfortable, because if you are working for someone, that means I'm gonna have to use my off time to actually learn something. That means I'm gonna have to go and find and get a book myself and invest. That means I might have to get on Udemy and learn something. I might have to get on YouTube. I might have to cut off Netflix for a little bit. I might have to invest my own money to go to a conference and to network with other like-minded people. I might have to even leave my area, because what I need, and no disrespect, because I love people in Port Arthur, everything else, but Jeremy might have to leave Port Arthur to get around another group of people that understand his value. Jesus wasn't even welcome in his own home. So you have to be willing to do what others won't, even though it may seem crazy. But the thing is, you have to be irrational, because if you are rational, the rest of the 99% are rational. The 1%, they are irrational or whatnot. And so you got to understand, when it comes to your life, what are you doing? Are you willing to do? Because success leaves clues. So your meditation, your prayer life, the way that you take care of your body, so it fuels, the way that you network with individuals, you start combining all those successful habits, and then voila, you're intentional. Doors start to open up, and now you're able to manifest what was in you all along. And that's some of the things that I'm seeing out of what Jeremy is sharing with us, and that it wasn't by accident. And so some of you right now, that you should have wrote the book. That you should have learned the course. You should have did some type of development, but yet still on the couch, eating hot Cheetos, eating wings, binge watching on Netflix, waiting on a $1,200 check to show up. And then when this COVID-19 thing is over, when we take the mask off, we take the gloves off, now you find yourself in a worse situation that you wasted all this time that you've been given as a gift. Instead of seeing it as a curse, it's a gift to you to get better. You didn't polish up your resume. You didn't get it out to other people to see what was going on that was available. You missed out on opportunities. So I like to say this, Jeremy, preparation when it meets opportunity leads to success, man. And I see that's what you've been able to do for yourself. But speak to the people, man, because I know that you were creating things and whatnot, but what was the shift that led you on the trajectory that you're on right now, as far as the type of work that you're doing, far as you're being an entrepreneur? You know, what was that break? You know, you could have went different ways, but the opportunity that you're able to present to other people, empower them. How did you get on this journey, even though you were doing professional development? What was that aha moment or that one encounter that started leading you down the road that you are on right now currently?
I like to believe that I honestly, well, I know now that I actually attracted this opportunity, right? I attracted this opportunity from the personal development that I was doing those 6 months. From that 6 month period, as when I came out of that, it took some time. It didn't happen right away, and I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't even expecting an opportunity to come to me. I was actually looking for it. So the gentleman that actually presented this opportunity to me, he had told me already that he had been watching me for 6 months before he decided to present the opportunity to me. This was 8 months after he had just created the opportunity, right? He built it, right? So he shared it with me, and it was the way that he shared it with me. It wasn't, like I said in the beginning, it wasn't, I want you to join me. This is a phenomenal opportunity. None of that. He said that if you follow my leadership, I can change your life. Wow. If you follow my leadership, I promise you that you will make more money in this industry than you've ever did in any corporate America job or in this industry, period. And it wasn't just about the money. It was about making it, saving it, and investing it. He taught us business principles. He taught us how to do business. So, and not only that, like I was personally developing, but he showed us how to take it to a whole nother level, right? Being the visionary that he is, he saw things before we even can think about it manifesting or thinking about the idea of it manifesting. So when he presented this opportunity to me, he decided to proceed to ask us to meet him in person. That was another one. That was point 2. You want to meet me in person? Okay, cool. So and the third point was that he shared this opportunity to me, said what he said, and I even shared with him what was going on in my life at that point in time. I had nothing to offer him. I had nothing to offer this opportunity but me. And he said, that's all that matters. I've seen your work ethic. I've seen your grind. I've seen what you're willing to sacrifice. And that's the sort of person that I want to partner with. So we decided to leave Dallas and go meet him in Houston and meet him in person. And the fourth thing that stood out, which was the biggest, he put 2 books in my hand when he first met me. Shook my hand, put 2 books in my hand. Relentless by Tim S. Grover, Going from Good to Great to Unstoppable. And then The Magic of Compound Recruiting by Hubert Humphrey. And so I searched this book because I don't know what made me search the cost of it or whatnot, but it was a regular cost, like $20, $30 or whatnot. But The Magic of Compound Recruiting right now is on the market for almost $1,000. It's a book, right? But it's on the market for like almost between $800 and $1,000. And he gave it to me. He's like, I want you to read these books. I want you to educate yourself. And I want you to, because you're going to be successful. You're going to be successful. I believe in you. And him believing in me when I didn't have anything, to offer, when I didn't even have anything to give, I didn't even have any money. I had negative $6,200 in my bank account, and I had negative $72.91 in my checking account. I had $19.31 in my pocket. I couldn't even invest in the opportunity, right? So he still took a chance on me. And when he did that set off that locomotive. That's what set it off, because it was like I told Britt, I was like, man, this is it. This is it. He told me to bring my top 3 people to the event and to meet him in person. And that's who was going to partner with me because he was going to place them in my organization. I was like, okay, cool. So I invited Britt, my girlfriend. She wasn't my girlfriend at the time. I had just met her. We had been knowing each other for about 4 months. And I invited my best friend for 12 years. And I invited another young lady who I'd been in partnership with. She was a really good friend. She was from my hometown. I had been knowing her since I was young. And the only person that showed up was Britt. That was the only person that showed up. And it positioned her to be able now to retire before she hit 30. Both of us. So it was the decisions, the sacrifice, that urgency, that sense of urgency to say, I'm not going to wait on it. I'm going to take advantage of it. If it don't work, it don't work. But I need to do my part and position myself in this opportunity because I don't see the full vision right now, but I know that this man believes in it. He believes in me. So I need to go ahead and push this. I need to go ahead and push myself. And so, but that was the deciding factor there that made me pursue this opportunity full time, full force, not full time, because 4 years now into the opportunity, we still don't work it full time. And it's completely changed our lives. Like I shared earlier, our income is only going up, right? And I understood residual income. I understood how important that was. And I understood legacy and generational wealth. And this company offered that. And that's something that I wanted to create for my daughter. Now my daughter's school is paid for. And she's 14 now, right? She doesn't have to worry about asking me for money. I remember I used to have to lie to her or tell her, no, you don't need that, right? It was so embarrassing. And now we're able to travel like we want. We're able to, buy her birthday gifts on time, right? Not a year later. My mom is sick right now, and that's another reason why we're pushing in this opportunity so hard. We're pushing ourselves. We're not pushing other people. We're pushing ourselves to do more, right? It's opened up a lot of opportunities. It's opened up a lot of business opportunities that we've been a part of. We've been able to create a graphic design and web development business, dog sitting, dog boarding, all from this residual income from this one opportunity. We've been able to create multiple streams of income from it. We about to buy some land in Colorado, 5 to 10 acres here that we're planning out right now in this time period, publishing another book. Britt's getting ready to publish a book as well. She's working on that. She started her social media marketing management business. She's doing a lot. Like, it's just so much. And the main thing that we do now is we show gratitude. We're very grateful for what's been happening in our lives. Because of that burning desire that we've had throughout the years and even till now, we are very grateful. We're very grateful to share the story. I told Britt, I say, man, I'm getting tired of hearing my own story. It's just insider. I'm getting tired of hearing my own story, but I understand the importance of it. I understand what it's doing for other people, and I need to learn to love it. I need to understand like what it's doing and who it's changing, and that's the reward. The reward is seeing people jump in my inbox and saying, hey, this part of your story changed my life. I wanted to quit, but this part of your story made me keep going. That was the reward. That's always the reward. So that's what made me pursue this opportunity. That's what's making it work is who he was, who he is, and what he continues to do. Even to this day, with everything that's going on, he's still thinking about the people. He's still thinking about how can we make this not happen when a pandemic or an epidemic or recession or depression happens. How can we make sure that people are, or I call it pandemic proof, right? How can we make that happen? And he's put together a phenomenal plan, a phenomenal opportunity to where it's possible. It's possible. I think about now, where would I be? We've been talking about this for like all week, every day throughout the day. Where would we be if we would have said no? If we would have just been like, man, let me think about it, right? I'll be back in Port Arthur. And you already know how that is, right? So that's what made me pursue it. That's really what made me pursue it. And then when I partnered, it was the culture. Everybody had that. The people that were making the most money, they all had that same mentality. They were all on the same page. They were all moving the same way. They were all doing the same thing. And that's what I loved. Everybody, it wasn't people out there that were trying to do their own thing, their way. We have a system. We follow the system. We mimic the leaders, and it's been successful. It's been successful, right? So that's it.
That's it, man. What you're sharing with us is the importance of copying genius, man. If something, we brought it up early, success leaves clues. And I see that where so many people, they get off track, don't get me wrong, you are unique to who you are, but it's still a place for systems. It's a place for us lining up with your unique abilities and your gifts under something that works or whatnot, so those who are tuned into this, don't think that someone is trying to stifle your growth. It's important for you to realize that, success leaves clues. There's nothing wrong with that. Copy genius. Every person successful, if you go from the biblical days or whatnot into the present day, people also have, Elijah, you got an Elisha, what I'm saying? That, if you got Moses, you got a Joshua. I mean, the list continue to go on or whatnot. Some of us look at the other Darren, you look at the Darren Hardy. You look at Anthony or Tony Robbins. Everybody loved these guys or whatnot. But at the same time, you got to have a Jim Rohn. You got to have an Earl Nightingale before you have a Bob Proctor or whatnot. You got to have a Dale Carnegie before you have a Napoleon Hill. And the list continues to go on and on and on or whatnot. But just like with Jeremy's story, where would we be if Napoleon Hill wouldn't have took the opportunity between that Mr. Carnegie gave him? Look at how many millionaires and billionaires have been created, how many nonprofits, how many individuals who have been able to be better in the corporate arena because of what they've learned by the writings of Napoleon Hill that wouldn't have happened if he wouldn't have taken advantage of that destiny moment. So that's what Jeremy is sharing with us as well, that you can be unique or whatnot, but be coachable. Be willing to, to get in line in certain areas. Yes, bring your uniqueness to it. Yes, he still has his own team. He still has his own business or whatnot. But at the same time, he was willing to take the opportunity. But I also want to bring up the point too. He took care of business when he was given the opportunity. Okay, you see, don't miss the clues that Jeremy shared. He was given 2 books. He didn't just get the books and go, oh man, this is a book I don't read. He didn't get the books and just say, oh man, what is dude giving this to me or whatnot? He just could have told me what he wanted to do. But one important part, please don't miss this. Jeremy shared to us that he actually went a little bit deeper and went and actually priced the books just to see what it was. See, sometimes you don't know what you got that's valuable because you hadn't even did the R&D. You hadn't did the research and development to see what you've been given. Is it an opportunity or not? That allow for him to have a different perspective about the individual that he's working with. See, some of you got an opportunity that Jeremy can present to you, but if you don't value it, if you hadn't did the research on it to know that it is an opportunity, if you don't get rid of, as the old school guy, rest in peace, Zig Ziglar would tell you, if you don't get rid of that thinking, then you could have an opportunity that could change your life, that destiny moment, but you're caught up in a scarcity and a lack mindset, a fixed mindset instead of a growth mindset. So you will forfeit the opportunities. Look at some of the people who didn't show up with Jeremy and them that day. Just think about that. Look at the opportunity that they would have missed. Now the opportunity for that little meeting that started off with a seed has grown from an acorn into an oak tree. Far as opportunities, and stemming from that is different streams of income, different ways to create impact, different ways to be able to create legacy or whatnot. And I know how it feels being in that particular point where Jeremy is talking about, where you got to tell people, man, you don't need that, but secretly deep inside you really want to give it to them, but you just don't have it. You don't want to go certain places because you don't have the funding or whatnot. And that's where that getting tired is being sick and tired. And I want to speak to some of these entrepreneurs and business owners out here with Jeremy sharing with us too. And not only the entrepreneurs or whatnot, but those who, if you work for people too as well, you got to have a mindset of taking advantage of the opportunity when it's there. I think it was Dr. Eric Thomas talking about, you got to take advantage of the lifetime opportunity of a lifetime during a lifetime of that opportunity. So many people, it's just like, just say, for instance, it was a young lady I had a deal for. I reached out to her and told her, I got 2 deals for you. during the weekend, last Friday. I didn't hear from her at all, Jeremy. I contacted her again on Monday, and she missed an appointment when she had something scheduled. I gave her, a little blessing because I said, well, maybe it's Passover or maybe it's, resurrection weekend or whatnot. So I let that make it. But I had to have a heart to heart with her and say, hey, you saying that you want to leave what you're doing 9 to 5 to say you want to have a business. Why is it? I didn't call you and tell you that you need to pay me anything. I told you I had 2 deals for you. You couldn't even make the appointment after I called you. So I'm sharing with those who are listening out there, you don't have a sense of urgency. You don't know how to make it. Like Jeremy was at the appointment. He was at the meeting that the gentleman told him to be at. He studied the materials and showed himself that to much given is much required. He was willing to take on that responsibility and show that he could be trusted with success. I got a question for those who are listening. Can you be trusted with success? Because you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone for success. You're going to have to pay the toll for success every day to be on that journey. You're going to have to do it. Guess what? When you off from work, before you go to work, on the weekend. I'm not saying kill yourself. Jeremy's not killing himself right now. Like he told you, it's people who are doing more work than Jeremy is, and he's still bringing in more income and still causing impact. Because I want to make sure I put impact out there because I feel something in my spirit right now where, somebody can get lost and the first thing they want to start hollering. This shows you something about your mindset when you start hollering. Well, it ain't all about money. Well, it ain't all about, we ain't talking, it is not about the money. It's talking about you being willing to get out your comfort zone to be who you were called to be. Are you going to get results or are you going to have excuses? This is what Jeremy shared. Jeremy made headway because he chose to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. What are you willing to do? Jeremy, I'm going to pass it on to you as we close this thing. I had a gentleman reach out to me today. I had just finished a workout. And before I even came in the office, the dude sent me a text message and said, hey, let me know when you can talk today or when I want to talk to you or whatnot. Boom. I pull immediately over to the side parking lot. Boom. Call the man, send him the contract. We close the deal. Now, let's look at this a little bit differently now. As my grandmother would say, Jeremy, you from Texas, so you can understand this. Now, if I would have been half-assing, that's some good old country talk right there. If I would have been half-assing and then coming up with a reason of, well, when I get showered and, when I get my latte or when I get my caramel macchiato upside down from Starbucks and I get seated and I have my morning meeting and I do all the other things I need to do, then I can get around to the cup. It's a sense of urgency for those who are successful. And whatever successful is if you're going to be a successful parent, you got a different type of urgency for the needs of your kids than somebody who's not a successful parent. If you want to have the right relationship in your marriage, you got to have a sense of urgency to realize that I got to continue to date my spouse compared to just, getting used to them and thinking that I'm entitled because I've been here for so long and I married them from that day. And that's just what they need to do because that's what the Bible says. We need to stay married and I don't need to do nothing else. That fixed mindset is not just business. It's for every area of your life. Just because you've been given a body, you still need to take care of your body in the temple that you've been given. So, Jeremy, as we get ready to close this thing out, man, I just want you to share with the people, how can they connect with you, man? How can they learn more about the opportunities that you and Britt that are offering people? Or if they want to just know more about you or be a part or give their email or something later on to you to be a part of when you release the next book, man. Share whatever you want to at this time.
Okay. I want to touch on just add a little piece to what you were saying through that whole segment. My mentor always told me, he said, and this was when I was going through one of my hard points, because you'll be going through your entrepreneurial journey and then you'll hit a wall. You're going to hit a lot of walls, but it's that one wall that makes it's the first one that's the hardest. And I was making a little money. I was out of my car and I hit a wall. But I was at a moment in time where I was like comfortable. I was making about $2,000 in residual income. And for residual income, that's good. That's a lot. So, and for it to hit. So one thing that he told me, and it still sticks with me today, and I tell my business partners, especially the younger ones, I've never seen a man fight so hard to end up right back where he started. I was like, "Ooh, I don't want to end back up in that car. I don't want to end up back there." So that not being comfortable, not getting comfortable, and being comfortable being uncomfortable, that is where that came from with me. Is that I didn't want to end up back where I started, because it can change overnight, right? It takes you a while. It's just like credit. It takes you a while to get the positive, to get it up, but it can knock it all back down in 1 second. So you don't want to get comfortable when now oh, I have this opportunity and I'm good with this. No, like entrepreneurs, we invest. We treat money as a tool, and that's exactly what it is. So when people talk about, oh, it's not about the money, or money is the root of all evil, and all this other stuff, we treated money like a tool. We're not married to it. We're not like praying over it or anything like that. It comes and it goes. It comes and it's used. That's how we do it. So, but everybody can find me. I'm on Facebook. My Facebook name is author Jeremy McZeal. You can find me on Instagram, jeremy.mczeal, Twitter, Jeremy McZeal. I'm on pretty much every major social media platform out there. We have a YouTube channel, Britt and Jeremy. You can check us out on YouTube. We're sharing our story on YouTube. We don't really talk about the opportunity on YouTube, but we talk about how it changed our lives. Email address, beyourownhero101@gmail.com. If you can, write that down. But definitely you can email me at any point in time. I'll even get about my number, 409-433-1414. You can shoot me a text message with your name and, how can I help you? And then we can go from there. When everything is over right now, we're sharing the opportunity online. Everything is online. We want to make sure that we have minimum 43,000 people online on our webinars checking out this opportunity. If you're interested in travel, extra income, residual income, leveraged income, legacy income, this is where you want to be. We have what you need. Other than that, I think that is about all. But you can really find me anywhere. Just typing in my name, Jeremy McZeal. McZeal, McZeal, Z as in zebra.
Awesome, man. Jeremy, man, we thank you, man, for coming on to the show. We also, even though this was shot live, we will have this being promoted at another time. That we will have the show notes, all the information that Jeremy shared here. For those who are listening to this or watching it at another time, we will have all that information for you. But like I said, that's why we had to have Jeremy on today, man. This brother's a game changer. I just want to say salute to you, Jeremy, man. That's why we wanted to have you on. Because sometimes people get caught up on just thinking that somebody got to be a professional athlete, they got to be an entertainer in Hollywood, or they got to be a trust fund baby. That's the only way that you can have a level of success. And so I like to bring success from different angles of life, whether it's someone who's a welder, somebody who's a stay-at-home mom, somebody who chased the entrepreneur route, somebody who take a new look at teaching or whatnot, even in the public school system. So, but thank you for being you, man. Thank you for not giving up. And thank you for inspiring so many other people, man, because definitely you're going to have to look at it. You're going to have to do some speaking, man, besides just to come in. You're going to have to share that story. Les Brown been telling his story for 99 years, man. But it's effective. It's somebody across the world who hadn't heard it. And some people, repetition is the key to learning. So, you know what I'm saying? So, man, please keep sharing that story, brother. But thank you for coming on.
I will. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a blessing. It's a pleasure. Anytime you need me, I'm here. Whatever you need, I'm here. Not just, for interviews, just please let us know.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Jeremy. For everybody out there in the Golden Triangle, BMT, PAT, Orange Fruit City, baby. We love you. Even Silsbee, Texas. We got nothing but love for you. Bridge City. We got somebody from City office. Y'all don't know nothing about that, man. We going to even show love to Vital. We're going to show love. Y'all catch that later on. For those who don't know nothing about the area, y'all catch that later on. But until next time, remember that this is the year for your new book. Be blessed and be great.